This story is about Neha, a young woman who lived alone in a small apartment in Mumbai. She loved her independence and the quiet of her home, but one night, something changed. It was late, close to midnight, when she heard a faint knock at her door. It wasn't loud or hurried, just a slow, deliberate tap. Curious but cautious, Neha went to check. Through the peephole, she saw nothing. The corridor was completely empty. She shrugged it off, thinking it might have been her imagination, or maybe someone knocking on the wrong door. But deep down, the sound unsettled her. Over the next few days, Neha started noticing strange things. At night she felt as if she was being watched. While sitting in her living room or lying in bed, her eyes would drift toward the window, where she'd catch glimpses of what seemed like shadows. But she lived on the 5th floor. Who could possibly be outside her window? Then came the phone calls. They started out as silent calls from an unknown number. Neha would answer, only to hear nothing on the other end. But one night, the silence was replaced by slow, heavy breathing. She hung up immediately, her hands trembling. The final straw came one night when she decided to confront her fears. It was past 2 a.m., and Neha was sitting on her couch, too scared to sleep. That's when she heard it again. Soft noises, this time coming from the balcony. Gathering all her courage, she grabbed a flashlight and walked toward the sound. As she pulled back the curtains, her heart nearly stopped. Standing on her balcony was a man. He was unkempt, with wild eyes and a faint smile. He didn't try to run or hide. He just stood there staring at her. Neha screamed and ran to call the police. When the officers arrived, the man was gone, but what they discovered was even more terrifying. A rope was dangling from her balcony, leading up to the roof. The police told Neha that the man had been living on the roof for weeks. He had been watching her through the windows and had even managed to steal a spare key from her apartment. Neha moved out the very next day, but the thought of how close he had been still haunts her. The police told her something she could never forget. He wasn't here to rob you, he was here to stay. It's a chilling reminder that sometimes the scariest monsters aren't the ones in our heads. They're the ones silently watching from the shadows.